Hey there, pirates. Welcome aboard the Anime No Mi channel. The Straw Hat Pirates, more than a crew, represent a true family. United by Luffy's dream of becoming the Pirate King, they faced Yonkos, admirals, and even gods like Imu, always with bonds of friendship forged in epic battles. Throughout their journey, the crew grew and evolved, from recruiting Zoro to reaching Elbaf in chapter 1158, where they confront giants. But the true purpose of One Piece, the treasure of Laughtale mentioned in chapter 968, goes beyond a simple material reward. It may be the key to fulfilling each member's greatest wishes and sparking a global revolution. The theory suggests that just like Roger, the Straw Hats will discover that One Piece is not just gold, but an artifact that grants wishes and can right the wrongs caused by the fall of the Great Kingdom. Reaching it will not only be the climax of the journey, but also a turning point. While each Straw Hat has a dream to achieve, these dreams are individual paths that will lead them to part ways upon reaching the treasure. Zoro, who swore to become the greatest swordsman, may finally defeat Mihawk, perhaps in Elbaf, and return to Wano or open a dojo, fulfilling the promise made to Kuina. Nami, in turn, would complete her map of the unified world and then return to Kokoyasi to rebuild her village. Usopp, now a legendary hero after his feats in Elbaf, could return to Syrup Village and share real stories of his adventures. Sanji, upon finding the All Blue as promised, would open a floating restaurant taking cuisine to new heights. The dreams of Chopper, Robin, Frankie, Brook, and Jinbei would also call them to new destinies, curing all diseases, revealing the Void Century, building a legendary ship, reuniting with Laboon, and leading the Fishmen. The separation would be bittersweet because, although the Straw Hats are a family, their individual dreams would lead them on different paths. This would not be a final goodbye, but the end of a cycle. In the last episode, the crew would reach Laughtale after defeating Imu and Blackbeard. Luffy, with his Gear 5 shining, would discover that One Piece is an artifact that unites the seas and grants wishes. Each crew member would see their dream fulfilled. Luffy would become the Pirate King, liberating the world. Zoro would become the greatest swordsman. Nami would complete the world map. Usopp would become a legendary hero. Sanji would find the All Blue. Chopper would discover the universal cure. Robin would reveal the Void Century. Frankie would build new ships inspired by the Sunny. Brook would reunite with Laboon and play one final song. Jinbei would lead the Fishmen in a new kingdom. In the final scene, at an epic feast on the Sunny, Luffy would raise a mug, laughing and saying, "You're my Nakama forever, but now you'll shine on your own." Tears would fall, but joy would prevail as each set out to fulfill their destiny. Zoro would head to Wano, Nami would return to Kokoyasi, Usopp would go back to Syrup Village, Sanji would open a restaurant in the All Blue, Chopper would establish a global clinic, Robin would teach history in a rebuilt Ohara, Frankie would continue shipbuilding, Brook would play with Laboon, and Jinbei would lead the Fishmen. Luffy, alone on the Sunny, would gaze at the horizon, with his straw hat shining and laugh like Nika, saying, "Ha ha ha, the world is free now, time for a new adventure." He would set sail perhaps with the Sunny or a new ship, leaving a legacy that would echo through the ages. The separation of the Straw Hats would be a difficult but inevitable moment. What Oda plans throughout the story is that as the crew fulfills their dreams, they are liberated, but this also pulls them apart. As seen in moments like chapter 576 with Ace's death and chapter 351 with Usopp leaving Water 7, separation is not only painful, but a natural consequence of growth. Just like Roger and his crew after Laughtale, the Straw Hats will follow new paths, carrying the spirit of adventure and the freedom Luffy always represented. In the end, Luffy, now as Nika, would free his Nakama to shine on their own, fulfilling each personal legacy. With each chapter closed, promises of reunions would always linger, like Sabo's vow in chapter 744. The final episode of One Piece would be a feast of laughter, tears, and farewells, but also of hope for the future, with Luffy finally free to pursue new adventures, laughing as the ship sails toward the horizon. Imagine Luffy, alone on the Sunny, looking out at the vast ocean ahead, at peace with his journey. The legacy of the Straw Hats would not be just about their victories, but about each dream fulfilled. A reminder that true freedom is the ability to follow one's own path, even if it means leaving forever. The world, now more united, would have new heroes, but also the echoes of the laughter and dreams of the crew that changed everything. The final chapter of One Piece would therefore not be an end, but the beginning of new adventures. Luffy, now with the power of Nika in his essence, no longer limited by a single goal, but free to follow his his own desires, would set off for new horizons. He would become the Pirate King, but not in the traditional way. He would be a king without a throne, free to shape the world's future as he wished, unbound by the world government or past expectations. When One Piece is revealed, it would not be just a material treasure, but a deeper concept, the true freedom to follow one's dreams without restriction. The idea is that upon reaching the greatest achievement, each crew member would no longer need to be confined to the same limits, creating a separation that does not mean distance, but rather confirms that the cycle is complete, and each can now be the hero of their own story. As Luffy sets sail, a new chapter opens for the world. The adventures of the Straw Hat Pirates do not end with their separation, but only with the certainty that somewhere across the vast ocean, the seeds planted by Luffy and his friends continue to grow. They will be remembered not as a group that faced all the evils of the world, but as those who confronted them so others could live freely. The final image of the series, after the feast and the farewell embraces, would show Luffy on the deck of the Sunny, staring at the horizon, sunlight reflecting off his straw hat. He would glance back, perhaps seeing the illusions of his friends, but with a calm smile, already knowing that the true journey was the freedom to follow his own path, without regrets, always with the promise of reuniting someday. Now, the world is truly free, Xiao, he would say, before looking to the horizon and disappearing into the vast waters, symbolizing the closing of one cycle and the beginning of another for everyone. And so, the legacy of the Straw Hat Pirates endures. The world they helped shape, with all its ideals of freedom, courage, and friendship, moves forward, each following their own path, yet always carrying the memory of a journey that defied the impossible. As Luffy sails, freer than ever, the echo of his laughter will resonate across the world. In every city, every village, every people, the name of the Straw Hats will be remembered. Not as a crew that simply conquered the seas, but as a family that dared to dream big, fight for their ideals, and in the end, free not just themselves, but the world itself. The sun shines brighter now, no longer under the rule of the world government, but as a light guiding all those who, like the Straw Hats, seek their freedom. One Piece was not a treasure of material wealth, but the key to the greatest treasure of all, the freedom to be oneself, to live without limits, and to leave the world better than they found it. And in the end, as it has always been with the Straw Hats, the final smile is always accompanied by a promise that one day they will meet again. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.